What's up, my fellow parents? Hey, there's so many great parts about being a parent. The hugs, the kisses, the soccer goals, the Christmas mornings, the seeing your kids step into confidence and seeing them grow and mature through the ages, the graduations, the birthdays. Parenting is so great. And then there's some parts that just are so hard. They're so hard. And some parts they just suck, Jordan. They just suck. You know what's really hard and can really suck sometimes is getting our kids to do some chores. Help them out around the house. Teamwork. We don't have a butler that lives here. There's no butler named Jeffrey here, the Prince of Fresh Air. Prince of Fresh
Prince
Air.
of Fresh Air.
It's like,
Fresh
come
Prince
on,
of Bel Air.
kid. Clean up your stuff, man. Don't do your chores. Vacuum a little bit. Keep your area clean. Why is chores? Why is it so stressful, man? Because it is.
I think it's just like our nature is just to be lazy, right? For some of us, we don't do anything. We'd love to have people wait on us hand and foot, right? And then there's others that are like, I kind of am a go-getter. I got to wake up. I got a task. I've got my notepad. I got to get stuff done. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, it was like, I had my alarm set at 6 a.m. and I'd have to wake my mom up for school and she'd be like, make your coffee. Like I was taking charge.
Golden child. Yeah.
I don't know why that was instilled in me, but I notice with my kids, and I don't know if it's just this generation or whatever, but you ask them to do something and it's like, no, I don't want to. Can you do it? I'm sitting here and watching. Can you give me a glass of water? No, get your booty up and get it yourself. You know what I'm doing right now?
Right. And that's the thing with chores, because so many parents, we're going to read you some research, and this episode is hopefully going to change your life. It really is, because chores is serious business. It really is serious in their psychological development, in your family dynamics, in your home culture. So do not take this episode lightly. And this is what's so hard about it, because even if you do get them to do the chores, sometimes they're whining about it, you're complaining, and then, we parents, we know what we do. We said, forget about it. I'll just do it myself.
Because we don't want to get into the argument. I remember, and I don't want to let this come across that I was some goody, because the reality is my mom would ask me to vacuum all the dang time, and I would always come up with an excuse as to why I didn't want to vacuum. Yeah. Right. So I literally would go and hand pick up the crap on the carpet rather than starting up the dang vacuum. I don't know why. I just didn't want to do the dang vacuum. Yeah, so I would say no all the time.
Vacuum. Yeah. Back in the 80s and 90s, man, some of those vacuums were heavy too. Now we got these light vacuums.
Right. Now they're so easy.
Right. Some of us had those heavy metal vacuums, like industrial grade. Now these kids, they got it so easy, and they're whining about a 20-pound vacuum. I think for me, I had a lot of chores growing up. I had to do a lot of dishes, emptying the dishwasher, loading the dishes. I had to do vacuuming. I had to clean the toilet, and we had a freaking cat box. And I got to clean that cat box sometimes. I did not like that. How about you? Did you have a lot of chores?
Cleaning up dog poop out back. That was always, you had to go and do that because it would there were landmines everywhere.
Oh, nasty.
I remember older, I would do the dishes. Oh, I remember one time, 8th grade, we had this class field trip to Washington, D.C. from San Diego. It was like the big field trip that everybody was looking forward to. Yeah. Well, I ended up getting a D in English. Ooh. I wasn't a good English student.
Okay.
I got a D. They wouldn't let me go. The school wouldn't let me go on my class project.
What?
Or on my class field trip.
For a D?
For a D, because I had to have C's or better. So my punishment was doing laundry for the family for a month. And that was when I got my crash course on how to do laundry.
Wow. So that's how your parents, so not only got consequence from the school, but
taught
your mom brought the hammer down. Yeah. Laundry. Yeah, I started doing laundry at a young age. And I think it was so good for me and my own development. And you know what I think of my chores? I always think of that cat box. And I think of anytime someone comes to me, Jordan, they're like, Sean, my child is acting very strange. My child does this. It's very weird. My child, I don't know.
What is this? Give us an example. Like
weird stuff. No, it doesn't matter. Just imagine something super weird. Here's what I always think about. Sometimes for fun, I would pee in the cat box. I would. In my own freaking cat box.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
In my own cat box.
You would pee in the cat box.
Man, I would do all types of weird, shady stuff like that. So anytime someone asks me, Sean, you're the family coach, is my kid weird? I think all the stupid stuff I used to do. you know, and like, nah, I think your kid's gonna be okay.
Okay, you should tell everybody about your habit you had when you would bite your arm hair. Do you remember you would like bite his arm hair?
I do, man. I still struggle with that.
You still bite your arm hair?
I hate to say it. I think it's called trichophilia, dude, and I think it's a legit mental disorder.
No,
and
you got a habit. You just got to stop the habit.
No, it's not. It's I think. Yeah, the long story goes, I was lighting the barbecue one day. I was like senior in high school, and it wasn't lighting, dude. So of course the igniter's not working. So I get a lighter down there in my hand, and it goes boom, and it burns off all my arm hair on my left arm.
Right.
And then it started growing back all prickly, and I noticed that I didn't like that, so I started biting it. And our mutual friend JP, he also used to bite his wrist.
Oh yeah,
remember that?
He did.
And then I was at UC San Diego one day studying in the library with my friend, and my friend was like watching me bite my arm hair. She's like, "Sean, what are you doing?" I was like,
the habit, a twitch.
She's like, "Are you biting your hair?" I was like, maybe. She's like, "Sean, you have trichophilia-mania." I just read.
Oh, she knew it was a thing.
She's like, "I just read about that in Cosmo."
Oh my god.
So
that is hilarious.
So yeah, unfortunately, I used to have like a big patch of missing hair. I still struggle with it. Pluck my eyebrows. Actually, I used to have not with
tweezers. You meant with your fingers. You pluck them with your fingers.
Unfortunately, this is very embarrassing. But I feel like I've overcome it. But I still struggle with this sometimes. And then sometimes I would get tempted to pluck my eyebrows and then put it in my mouth.
Oh my gosh, you've got this disease. It's serious, dude. You have a problem. You need to go on medication.
No, I was able to overcome it without any counseling, and I asked my wife, early on in our marriage, hey, anytime you see me doing that, can you just slap my hand? Slap me, like please, and that was really helpful. And
so now you have clients coming to you saying, "Is my kid weird?" And you're like, "No, they're just fine."
You don't get it. Yeah, you don't want to know what stuff I was doing at your kid's age. I was doing a lot of weird stuff. So let's talk about the focus at hand. Okay. It's not, this episode might be called Making Chores and Teamwork Eazy-Peezy-Lemon-Squeezy.
Ooh, I love it. Because
that's what I want. First of all, I love that term. One of my kids, when she was in first grade, she brought that term home. That's part of my home culture. That's really what we're talking about here. It's not about getting your kids to do chores. What today's episode is really about is how do you, as the leader, as the teacher, as the parent, the most influential person in your home, how do you create a home culture of chores, why you should do it, and how to do it? Because Jordan and I, we are very much into chores, and we want to support your family. And let's nerd out on chores, Jordan.
Yeah. I like the idea of it. I'm just still trying to get my kids involved. All right, so there was this study to kind of link this connection further. Whirlpool brand collaborated with a developmental psychologist and child development expert. It's Dr. Richard Rende. The outcome reveals there are social, emotional, and cognitive benefits of chores, right? Excuse me.
Yes.
Of course, chores for kids throughout all development stages. And this is going to provide an opportunity for parents, us, to consider the positive roles that these chores can play in our kids' lives. So I'm going to throw some dates at you. March 2020, there was a survey, data 2. They show that only 70% of parents say their children regularly do chores. And that's down 79% from the year 1997.
Down from 79%.
Thank you. Down from 79% from 1997. So from 1997 to 2020, chores went from 79% down to 70%. So fewer kids are doing chores. Now, of the parents that were surveyed, you had 15% of them say that it's not important to them that their children do chores.
Let me jump
Question
in.
is, why is that?
Yeah, let me jump in. Well, I'm hearing from a lot of clients over the last 20 years that some families, they don't want their kids to do chores because they just want them to focus on their academics. And that's
but are they?
And yeah, I don't know.
I think that's an excuse. I think that's an excuse.
Okay, why? Why is that an excuse?
Well, because it's not like you're doing academics the moment you get home from school to the moment you go to bed.
True.
Unless you've got some high schoolers that are in AP classes and they've got sports and extracurriculars, I get it. But what I'm saying is I think this saying, hey, I want them to focus on their academics, it can be an excuse for a parent to be like, no, my kid's really focusing on their schoolwork. When the reality is they also have downtime and they can also contribute to the task at hand, which is being involved in a little community under this roof.
I totally agree. I think it's another excuse too where, we all know. And building a home culture of chores in the home, it's hard. And I think that's just an excuse. Like, I'm just like, I just don't want to step into this. Or you have a challenging child. And I can't tell you how calm it is when you have a challenging child in the home. That child does not do chores because parents give up, man. They give up. It's just too stressful trying to get this kid to freaking clean up some dog poop or empty the dishwasher. And they give up. But what's interesting is that based on this stat, it's not that kids have changed, it's that parents have changed since 1997. And less parents are now, I guess, demanding that their kids do chores.
Right.
It's another way how parenting culture has changed so much in the last 10, 15 years.
The family dynamic has changed, and I just think if we want our kids to be well-rounded, they need to take care of themselves. I mean, how many scenes are there? I'm thinking of a scene right now from the show Friends where Ross is dating the most beautiful woman out there. She's gorgeous, and she brings him home, and her house is filthy. She literally has rats in her apartment running around, right? So it's like you could be brilliant, you could be the boss of a company, and you could be successful in that stuff. But if you come home and can't take care of your own house, I mean, unless you're going to make millions of dollars and have a staff to wait on you, I think it's smart for us to learn all this.
Well, that's part of the problem we're going to address today. Is some of us do have housekeepers, and so how is that impacting our kids? I didn't grow up with a housekeeper, but I have one here in our house. And so here's some really good news more about chores. So read.
Children who do chores may exhibit higher self-esteem. Awesome. Yes. They could be more responsible.
Let's go.
And be better equipped to deal with frustration, adversity, and delayed gratification. These skills can lead to greater success in school, work, and relationships. Attitudes toward chores vary considerably.
Yeah, and here's some more good news. This is well-researched areas. A big article that was produced out of Inc. magazine. It's entitled this: "You want to raise kids to grow to become successful adults? Remember these 4 words." And here's what it says: make them do chores. A big study was done out of La Trobe University, and they pretty much broke down chores into 3 areas. One would be self-care. It's like kids making their own meals. Number 2 would be other care. As in making meals for others or doing things around the house. And then 3rd would be pet care. And essentially what the research found is the same thing, is that these kids that are doing chores, they have significant correlation in how they're growing their brain, their social development, problem-solving skills, academic performance, self-kills. And what they didn't find in this study was interesting is that the kids, that if you do not do well in pet care, it doesn't actually mean very much. So that's
okay.
So if your kid gets a freaking puppy, and you have that same stupid speech you gave with your kid, the same way I had with all my kids. Okay, guys, we're gonna adopt a dog. It's not just my dog. I don't want this dog. And then they tell you their promises, and then in the end, you only get so many of those you only get some of that those. But yeah, here's another quick study. Harvard Grant study. You might have heard of them. Here's what they have, and this is really interesting. So actually, I'm going to do it in the form of a quiz. Jordan, I'm going to quiz you. Okay, the longest running longitudinal study in history, researchers have identified 2 key things that enable adults to be happy and successful. Okay, so what were the 2 things? I know it seems like I just changed the subject here, which I might have. But what would one be? Say? What are the 2 things that make a happy adult? What are the 2 things?
Living with gratitude?
No.
Okay.
Good guess. Really good guess, though. Like, honestly, that should have been my guess too.
Living with gratitude.
Like gratitude, because you can be happy living in like the slums of the Philippines or India. They're very happy.
Well, we know the answer is not money, so I'm not going to go with that. Would it be the amount of love you surround yourself with?
Correct. Number 1 was love. Yeah, Jordan, all right. Love. I'm a big fan of you, and I love your answers. Okay, what's number 2?
So like something that can help your adrenaline spike, right? Or that dopamine, like doing things, right? You know what I'm trying to say here? Like being activities, not like adventures, not necessarily traveling, but like doing stuff.
That's not correct.
Oh, okay.
What a great guess, dude. What a great guess. No, the second one that they found, which
Chores.
makes adults happy and successful, is work ethic.
Work ethic. Okay, so that kind of goes into what I was trying to say, like doing things, being productive is probably what I should have said.
Yeah. I was saying that like we teach all of our teen clients, self-esteem comes from doing esteemable things.
Ooh, I like that.
So this really makes sense. People that have a community of love around them and that have a strong work ethic, the studies show that those are happy people. So how does this relate to my daughter, emptying the dishwasher or taking the
being productive
dog for a walk, which when she doesn't want to do it? How does that relate?
Well, we're teaching her to be productive, to do something you don't want to do because you have to do it. You got to clean up because you want to show your dog love. You got to walk your dog.
Yep. And the number 3 on Harvard study for happy adults is spending lots of time on TikTok and YouTube.
Yep, we knew that was going to be the case. We all knew that.
So that's why if your kid is spending a lot of time on TikTok and YouTube, they are right on a good path.
So I think a lot of the parents here, they're like, Sean, we agree with you. We know chores work. Our kids just won't do them. Yeah. How do we get our kids to do them? We're going to tell you. We're going to give you some, or Sean's going to give you some tips.
Hang in there. Yes, but
that belt that's been hanging up in your closet, you pull that belt down, you whip it a couple times.
Nope, that's not going to be on the list.
It's not on the list. All right.
So, hey, real quick. Sometimes people ask me, Sean, what do I don't even know. Like, how can I get my kids to do chores? So you just let us spend a couple seconds of age-appropriate ideas of what your kids could be doing for chores. Because as soon as your kids start walking everybody, they can start helping out with chores by putting their toys away in a toy bin.
Right.
And so what about ages 2 through 4? Young toddlers, they just started walking. What can they do, Jordan?
Yeah, so I think, helping clean up toys is a big one. I remember when my kids were literally still infants in like the car seat. They couldn't walk, they couldn't hold their head up, right? And my twins at the time would always cry, and my mom would say like this was a moment where I was like shaving in the mirror, just shaving, and my kids are in their little car seat or their mama-roo, whatever it was, and they were kind of faced away. And my mom was like, just turn them so they can look at you. They want to be with you, she said. Yeah. So like I literally brought my kid up on the counter with the mirror there, and I'm shaving, and they just stood there and stopped crying, and they were just like, they were with me. So what that taught me was like, our kids want to be with us. So when they're young and you've got a whole room to clean up, go and clean it up, but bring your kids along, and that will teach them in the process. Hey, let's clean up this toys. Hey, we made a mess here. Can you help me wipe up? Yes. Hey, you've got your, let's say they're 3 or 4 and they're walking and babbling and talking back a little bit. The fun stages. I love the stage of 3 and 4. They got their little pretend vacuum. If you got a vacuum, let them pretend to vacuum. My neighbor mows his lawn, and the kid's got his plastic lawnmower out there with his dad all the time. It's the coolest thing.
Cool. That is so cool.
It's teaching them young.
I freak out when I see kids out there doing yard work with their parents. It just makes my day, man. Also makes my day just seeing kids out there on bikes. I don't care if they're e-bikes, scooters, just getting kids out there.
Outside.
So yeah, there's just you and I both know, everybody that's listening, there's so many little things that your kids can
sorting
do
socks, setting the table.
Right. The problem is that we have to address this, is that we don't let them do these things. We don't let them do chores because why, Jordan? Why don't we?
Because it takes us longer to get the chore done, probably.
Exactly. It's lazy parenting.
I remember when I was myself. Elementary school, and my dad took me to work, and I'm like, Dad, let me help you. And he's like, listen. He was a floor covering guy, so he was working with tile. I couldn't have helped him if I tried, but I wanted to try, And he's like, it's going to take me longer to teach you right now than it is for me to just get this done. I'd rather spend time with you. But as I got older, he could teach me down the road. So you got to do age-appropriate things and teach them along the way. You're going to help them, load the dishwasher. Make sure the 2 or 3 or 4-year-old is loading the plasticware in the dishwasher and not the glass.
And age 5 through 8 is really prime time chores. That's really the prime time to really lay a foundation in your house. Like, this is what we do. You're a part of this community. You're part of this family. One of my favorite things is my youngest daughter, she's 7 right now. Whenever I'm doing yard work or building something outside, which I do a lot of, like I'm about to, redo my office here. She was in here just a couple nights ago, said, I want to help. And even if that meant just getting the tape out or holding, I've called all of my girls like screw girls or nail girls, because if I'm using screws or nails, they just love to hold them and they hand them up to me on the ladder. Like, these are things that we're changing their life by doing these little things, but especially during ages of 5 through 8.
Now, would you say teaching a kid who's 6, 7, or 8 years old to do laundry is too advanced for that age?
It really depends on the child. Now, at age 6, I'm thinking of that, is that too young? Probably first, second grade. Yeah, it's probably too young to be doing your own laundry, but they can sort, they can fold laundry, right?
And
It might
it's
take
one
you
of
a little
my
longer.
I would say it's a pet peeve, but it's something that I definitely struggle with is when we're cooking. I'd love the kids love to cook. They love to bake. They're like, let's bake cookies,
Cooking.
right? So when it comes to breaking the dang egg, I'm like, guys, you got to make sure you break it this way, right? No shells in, and then it goes everywhere, and you got to clean it up. And I'm like, let me just break the egg. I'll do the egg. You do everything else.
Yeah, that does drive me nuts when that egg get in there. Now, I think of this. My coaching for you is, when your child becomes a middle schooler, grade 6, I really want to encourage you to start having a rites of passage ceremony in your mind. On a side note, I actually do a rites of passage ceremony for all of my kids when they turn age 12, which I'll talk about in another episode. We'll do one on rites of passage. But it just means like, look, this is at age 12, like somewhere around age 12, your child is becoming close to becoming a young adult. Like they're hitting puberty. It wasn't that long ago. Kids at age 12, 13, they were like really helping out with the family farm. Now, are they a young adult at age 12 or 13? I'll let you decide. Different cultures have different ages for quinceañeras, for bar mitzvahs.
Right.
We have these things, but it's like this is the time a 6th grader is very capable of emptying the dishwasher, loading the dishwasher, taking the dog for a walk, managing their homework, managing their own so many things. And what we have is psychologists tell us one of the problems we have in our culture is called extended adolescence, where we're letting these kids just be kids longer than we have in historical time periods, and it's causing some problems. Now, there's a backlash to this because you have a lot of people on social media like, oh, I just want my kids to enjoy their childhood.
But now you have 30 and 40-year-olds moving back in with their parents. I know, they can't take care of themselves. And okay, I didn't mean to say that because I know the economy and having jobs can be struggling, but it just kind of shows you the case. But I'm going back to this rites of passage, and I want to know what the big event is because it brings me up to a movie for all you Tim Allen fans. Okay, Ooh, Jungle to Jungle. It was an amazing movie. I don't know if you remember Jungle to Jungle.
Remind us.
You've got this little kid. He had this boy, and his mom took him away, who ended up living in the Amazon. He didn't know about it. Ooh. He was a stock trader in New York. Anyway, he finds out his son, who's named Mimi Siku, he just turns like 12 or 13, okay? And for his rite of passage, they took a stick in the fire, they pulled it out, and he had to grab it with his hand and not flinch, and then he became a man.
Ooh.
So now I want to know what these events are for rites of passage. What do I got to get my kids to do? Is it chores?
You know what?
Is that the rites of passage?
Next episode, let's do it. Let's do a whole episode.
Rites of passage.
Rites of passage. How to do it, how not to do it, why
I think it's jumping out of an airplane.
And I'll tell you what I've done
a tattoo.
with my kids. Yeah. Let's tattoo.
Let's tattoo our children. You're old enough.
Yeah, I've done I really love the rites of passage things that I've done with my kids, and I'll look forward to sharing that with you.
Okay, let's move on to the next age group, 9 to 12-year-olds now. Obviously, we talked a lot about, setting the table, doing the dishes, picking up after your, pet, cooking and cleaning, I guess, at this age, doing their own laundry, definitely at this age, especially 11 and 12, like you said. So as they get older, I mean, the big question is going to be, do we pay our kids to do these things? Or is this is part of living under this household?
Brilliant question. Now, this episode is not going to focus on allowance, but what I'm about to say is I feel so passionate about. I'm so serious about this, and majority of experts agree with what I'm about to say. Chores should be a part of the home culture, not connected to any allowance or any bribing at all. We should teach our kids at a young age, this is what we do. Some people, have even changed the term, and they don't use the word chores anymore. They now call it household contributions because we just want to teach our kids, like, we all contribute to this house. And
I like
hit on this point in a few minutes too, when we get to this section of, like, I've got 5 really great tips and tools for you all to use, action steps on how to build a home culture of chores. That's easy peasy Eazy-Peezy-Lemon-Squeezy, where you don't have to bribe or allowance your kids to do them. Now, is allowance can be a good thing? Of course it could be a good thing. It can also be a bad thing. But that's what we're going to focus on in this episode. And I hope that encourages you and excites you, that you can get your kids to really thrive with their chores without bribing them or giving them allowance.
No, and I love it. And I think we should start off right now with changing the name of it, because that word chores is just, it like looms over you. You hate it, can't stand it. What's the terminology used again?
Household contributions.
I like that. Household contributions.
In my book, I talk about that word, and I kind of roast the word a little bit because it's just like such a California thing, you know.
It's
is.
Like,
we can't say chores anymore.
I know.
I gotta say household contributions.
Totally.
It's so hippie. It's like just freaking do your chores, kids.
Right.
Just,
duties.
Right, so here's 5 tips. I think you're really gonna love these. I have used these with my own kids. I have helped many clients to implement these into your home, and I hope you love it. So now the first one is good, but it's not surprising to you. In fact, I love and I hate the first one, because the first one is good, but if you don't have these other 4 that come after this, the first one's not going to work. Now, here's what I want you to do. Action step number 1 is build a home of structure, order, and chore predictability. Here's what this means. The childhood world is very structured. It's very structured. Your kids go to school, and their whole world is governed by time and by a loud school bell. They stand in line. They know they have to go from class to class. They know that they can't really act up at school because it's extremely structured. If they go to sports, it's structured. If they go to drama, it's structured. If they go to tutoring, it's structured. It's like there's predictability. There's charts everywhere our kids go. So doesn't it make sense that in our home, whether we use a verbal explanation or a chore chart, that we would have some type of structure in our home around chores? Predictable. Does not make sense?
It makes so much sense. And I'm failing at that. I don't have anything. I remember when I was a kid, when I had to walk to school 15 miles uphill both ways in the snow.
You're becoming your grandpa like every day, you know. Okay.
But a family that babysat me and my brother and my sister would have this. It was a piece of paper on the refrigerator, had each of their names, and it had sections. And they every day they'd come home and they'd go straight to that before homework for everything, and they would look to see what they had to do. Everything was very structured.
Very structured. Yep. My sister Megan, she showed me this amazing thing she found off Amazon, where kids have it's like a little plastic board, like a whiteboard, Jordan, and they just slide it over. So they have a morning chore chart and they have an evening chore chart.
Oh, I love that.
And it's just, I was like, Megan, this is brilliant parenting. And I saw the little boys, they're like young. They're like what, 2nd grade and maybe 4th grade. I mean, they do well with this chart.
Yeah.
And so the cool things about charts is that they minimize conflict communication and they enhance predictability. And our childhood brains really thrive on that. So I'm here to help you negate and get rid of all the nagging and the complaining, which I'm going to chat about in a second, and just create structure. But here's a catch. Did you know, Jordan, that most chore charts do not work and parents do not use them and they give up on them very shortly? Does that sound surprising to you?
No, I just thought many people didn't actually use them. I didn't know they failed.
They fail.
So parents will start with it, and then the kids just stop doing it, or the parents stop enforcing it.
Yeah, that story I told you about my sister Megan, who lives right close to beautiful Seattle, Washington. That's like a fantasy, man. And the reason why that chore chart is thriving is because I think she's using the other things. But take a guess. Why would, if you have this awesome family meeting and you give your kids this beautiful chore chart that you made, you got it on Pinterest, you got it on Amazon for $14.99, you got little flips, you got magnets, you got all this cute stuff, and then after 2 weeks, you're like, what the crap? This is stupid. No one's doing this. My kids aren't listening.
No incentive.
You give up. Why would it fail?
Maybe it's because, I'm going to go against your guidance here, but maybe it's because there is no incentive. There is no money on the backside. Maybe there's one more board that needs to flip when the job is completed that has the Wi-Fi password that they could use the Wi-Fi.
Ooh,
You've seen
good.
that? It's like, you finish this, you can have the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah.
So if there's no carrot at the end of the stick, why am I going to keep walking?
That's really good. That's not my answer, but I love that. Your guesses right now on this episode. I mean,
I don't know the answer.
It is 10 out of 10. Here's my answer, because it's like a riddle. Like, I hold the answer to it. Here's what I've found is that most chore charts don't work. And if you've struggled or failed with chore charts in your home, it's because of this. It's not because of currency or allowance. It's because you have failed as a parent to really reach your kids' hearts, and failed as a teacher in teaching them what chores is really about and how valuable it is in a home family structure.
Dude, you are getting so California on us. We don't have time for that bozo nonsense. Okay? Here's $10. Go make your dang bed, clean your room, and vacuum, and I'll give you this $10.
And then
whatever it is.
They won't do it. They won't do it for $10. Like, no, I'm good. That's what the kids.
Yeah, because they're like, Dad, have you seen inflation lately? Give me 20 and I'll do it.
Man, yeah, exactly. Then it starts an argument.
Right.
Or they'll say, I don't want to do it. Or the parents just cave and they give $10, even if they don't even do it. So here, let me explain. Action step number 2. How do you really reach your kids' hearts? And that shouldn't surprise you. Shouldn't that surprise you that the answer to this, how to get your kids to thrive with chores, is that surprising, Jordan? Like,
it's like
about reaching their hearts on this topic.
Yeah.
Is that a big shocker?
A lot of the times we've reached their hearts when like something happens and like they see mom or dad cry. They're like, "What's wrong? I just feel so overwhelmed. I got to do this." And they're like, "Oh no, I'll help you, mom. Yeah. I'll go make my bed." And then they kind of see how hard it is, and they'll do it.
Right. So the title of this podcast should not be this amazing title, "Making Chores and Teamwork Easy-Peasy-Lemon-Squeezy." It should be like how to really reach your kids' hearts so they understand the depth and the beauty and the love of chores. That's kind of hallmarky, but that's kind of where we're going with this. You know
okay.
I mean? But that's what I do. A little hallmarky sometimes. All right. Number 2, use teamwork vocabulary. Okay.
We've got this.
Here's an example. Let me role play some of this out. Hey, let's imagine we're having a family meeting, everybody. I said, guys, look, we are a team. And we're either going to thrive as a team or we're going to struggle as a team. And so partly why we will need you to empty the dishwasher is because we can't load the dirty dishes until it's clean. And we work hard together as a team, making that dinner because we love you. And so we got to get you to your basketball practice on time. We have a problem. What do you mean, Mom? Well, you don't seem to want to load the dirty dishes. Oh, I told you I'm busy. Right. But that affects all of us. Oh, Mom, you're being dramatic. I told you I'd do it later. I'm just busy. I'm studying. But honey, we need to slow down because when you don't load the dirty dishes or whatever chore it is, it affects all of us. This whole family is affected. No, why? It's not even a big deal. I didn't even use those dishes. I didn't even use them. That's like, but
I know.
See, it's all
I didn't
connected.
Put the toys there.
Right. It's all connected because, when you don't do these things, then it affects all of us. It affects us. And then, then your brother is asking, well, why would I do my chores when you don't do your chores? And see how it's all a big web of connection. And so if one person is not doing their chores here, then it's going to affect all of us. But if one person does do their household contributions, we all contribute, then the whole team is going to work on this together. So that hitting that point hard is
I like that because so many times when our kids say no to us, we basically go back to like fight or flight mode and we get super selfish, right? So it's like, hey, I need you to pick up the toys. Well, I didn't put them there. And then you go to, well, do you think I did? Right? This isn't about me. This isn't about you. And I like what you're saying. It's about us. So my response to them saying no would be like, do you think I want to be the one taking the trash out? Do you think I want to be doing your dishes and cleaning your dirty socks? Right? And that's very selfish. Instead, I need to be thinking like, no, this is a machine. I'm a cog in the machine just like you are. And we need to all work together for it to run smoothly.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about emotion coaching. I mean, that's kind of what we do on this podcast. It's really what it's about. So there's a big difference between saying this, which is, you know what? Do you think I want to do these chores? You think I want to go to work to buy you new soccer cleats? Do you like that? Like, go clean your room and shut up versus, hey, honey, let's sit down. Like, we got to talk about this because the reason why we have you vacuum is not because we're trying to punish you. It's not because we're neat freaks. Like, it's really affects this family having a clean living room carpet. I know, but I don't care. Right? And that's okay. That's okay that you do not care about the living room carpet as much as I do. Right. You guys are just you're neat freaks. All you do is talk about chores. That must be hard. I don't want you to feel that way. I don't want you to feel like all we do is talk about chores. And if you do feel that, well, then I need to chill out. I need to change how I parent. Because I don't want you thinking like all I do is talk about chores or school. That's stupid. Like, I love you. But here's what's going on here with this carpet is that it's very important to me to have a clean carpet. I feel comfortable with a clean carpet. I feel like safe in my own house. You feel safe in your own house.
Those dust mites aren't going to come attack you.
You're being so dramatic. Right. That's right. How weird I am. I'm not being weird. When you're older, you might feel the same way. Like when I see my kids, cleaning that carpet, I feel very loved.
Dad, you are weird. You bite your arm hair.
That's true. But that's why I need that carpet clean, because there might be arm hair on it.
That's right.
No, but listen to me. This might sound a little weird, but when I see you emptying the dishwasher and vacuuming, I feel loved. Do you think that's weird, son?
You feel loved because I vacuum?
I do. Yeah, because chores are not about chores. It's not about the vacuum, man.
Yeah.
It's not about the cat box. It's not about cleaning that toilet. Chores are so much more. When I see you doing those chores, I feel like, I'm raising a great daughter. I'm raising a son who cares about this family. I'm raising a son who cares about teamwork, who has self-discipline, who realizes that the whole world doesn't revolve around them. I get it. Your levels of hygiene are different than mine, and that's okay. That's okay if you want to keep things dirtier than how I want to keep them. When you're older, you might feel the same way I feel. You might feel like you want things cleaner. But when I see you doing these things, it feels like, hey, you care how about I feel about things and how I want to parent my kids. So Jordan, do you see where I'm going with this role playing?
Yes.
Is this helpful? What do you see doing here that you like or you don't like?
Well, you are literally keeping all of the emotions out of it, meaning your own emotions. You're doing so good with the we, you're not falling into that defense mechanism where they're yelling, I don't want to do it, and then you would want to attack. You're just being cool, and you're really showing them that Fonzie, that cool, hey, this is how we're gonna do it, Yeah.
What a Happy Days reference, dude.
Yeah. Well, because he's the coolest guy, right? He was the cool guy.
He was cool.
You were being the cool dad in that
moment. You actually watched Happy Days? Like, dude, I thought
well, there's clips you'd see here and there.
Clips, yeah. You know what I'm doing here too? I just realized I'm having compassion for my kids and empathy. That they do not, it's okay if they don't want to do chores as much as I want them to do chores. I'm helping them to process that. It's okay to be different. But I'm also helping them see like, hey, this is a practical way for you to show love to this family. Yeah. And this is so key of why we're using this we terminology. So are you ready for point 3?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so let's go back. Number 1, build a home of structure, order, and chore predictability, right? Being predictable, like you said. Yeah. Use teamwork vocabulary. Yeah. Like it. What's 3?
Okay, number 3 is actually a contract to what you said.
Okay.
What you said was very helpful. You said, Sean, I like how you're keeping your cool. You're not bringing your emotions into it. I'm not bringing the anger, the yelling, the aggression, the passive aggressions, the threats. I'm not doing that stupid stuff. But now I am going to bring my emotions into it. And I'm going to role play this one out for you too. Can you, in about 2 minutes, can you pretend to be like a salty teenager and you don't want to empty the garbage? And I'm going to role play that out.
All right.
Okay? All right.
But what is the third tip?
Help your kids see how their chores impact your emotions.
Help your kids. So if I'm speaking of this in first person, I get to help my kids see how their chores impact my emotions.
Yeah, because first of all, that's a fact. How our kids do their chores, whether they thrive with them or they don't, it really impacts us, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, we know the studies show a clean house is like it does numbers on your attitude, and you know what I mean. Yeah. Coming home to a clean house versus coming home to a dirty house, energy moves more freely and all of that. So ultimately, them being a part of this machine and the machine is successful, makes you feel good.
I went to a funeral. One of my friends, my dear friend, and my mentor, one of my mentors, Larry Weens, passed away, and I love that man. He was 81 years old. and he's left with his 2 kids and his widow, Esther Weens. And it was a very emotional funeral for me. I was crying a lot. I was just thinking about this man's beautiful life and how much I want to be like him, how I want my life to be like his, how much I learned from him. And when we think about funerals, we often think about how it's very, very emotional. But here's what you may not think about. Let me try to change tones. Chores is extremely emotional as well. It really is. Oh my
gosh.
I know it's a little bit of a stretch.
That's okay.
But so it really is emotional. Are you?
But I think it's because of the defiance that it becomes emotional, right?
Buddy. Yeah, it really is. They don't want to do it, and it bothers us. It hurts us.
Right.
So here's a couple things you might want to say to your kids. Hey, son, can I chat with you real quick?
What's up, Dad?
Hey, man. I just saw you empty the dishwasher last night without being asked. I just want you to know, I just feel super good inside. I feel really connected with you when I see you rocking that dishwasher, man. And I'm being serious. It means a lot to me.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hey, daughter, I got to tell you, I love you so much. And when I see you helping bring those groceries in without being asked, like, I am so full of joy and pride in my heart. Thank you.
That's hard for me to remember to do as a parent, because you're going to be saying this after the fact, right? So, like, I've seen my kids do stuff, and it makes me feel great. But I never remember to go back and actually thank them for doing it. That's cool.
It impacts our emotions. So, like, you hear me talk a lot about this 5-to-1 ratio in all of our relationships. You know, we want to have 5 positive experiences, positive phrases, you know, for any one. That's a minimum. And so your kids are constantly doing good things, everybody. They are, Jordan. They're constantly bringing in. If you say, can you bring in the groceries?
Right.
They help bring them in, don't they?
Yes.
So instead of saying thank you, which is great, open our big mouths and let them see how we feel. Hey, I just want to let you know, when you do something like that, by the first time that I ask you, I feel so good inside and loved by you.
I feel very loved.
Thanks.
That's awesome. I like that. That's
just
great.
Like we want to train dogs. Like the way you train a dog is we give them treats, positive affirmations. So it's super good. Now let's before we do role playing, let me combine point number 4. Can I
okay.
Point 4?
Okay. Cool. Point 4.
So if point 3 is help your kids see how their chore life, whether positive or negative, impacts their emotions. Let's take it to the next step deeper. This is very deep.
Wait. Let me help them see how their chore choices impact their, you said emotions, their relationships.
So now point 4 we're going to go deeper.
Oh,
help them see how their chore life, whether positive or negative, impacts their relationships with you and with others.
Oh,
this is how deep chores are.
Okay, jeez, yeah, all right. How do we do that? Yeah, how do we let them see that?
Okay, first of all, do you think that title is a little extreme or a little weird? What I just said, that how someone does their chores or doesn't actually impacts their relationship. Is that a little intense?
Yeah, you're going really deep here, and I don't know. Maybe it's needed. I want to see you put a bow on this thing, but all right, most of us aren't going to look this deep at this topic.
Right, we're not. But we were roommates at one time in our lives. We lived together. When I lived at your house, you were like a senior in high school.
Yeah,
and let's imagine now that you and I are living in an apartment, which would have been so fun. I wish we could have been roommates one day. And let's say that I'm a slob. I'm eating your top ramen. I'm drinking your milk.
Oh, dude, this reminds me of college.
Dude,
I'm a roommate that you don't.
I'm leaving stuff around the house.
Oh, and popcorn. You're popping popcorn, and it's smelling up the whole house.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
yeah. And let's say that you're a good student, and so you like to go to bed at 10, 11 o'clock on a school night, and I'm playing my video games, making noises, or I'm bringing girls over, I'm drinking, doing drugs, whatever. All right. And I'm not cleaning up after myself.
That is going to impact our relationship.
Are we going to be cool? Are we going to be best friends?
Right. No, probably not.
Did you ever kick anybody out when you were in college, or any roommate out for being a slob?
We had to discuss it with roommates.
You did?
Oh, yeah. Danny had a roommate in college one time that was such a slob. She had to ask to be moved to have a new, because you know, in these dorms, they're so tiny. For anyone who's lived in the dorms, you know, it's like you are in each other's business.
Yeah,
Two
dude.
little bunk beds. I
I
mean,
did it.
you got nothing in there.
You got nothing. Yeah.
And she was a big slob, and it became a problem. But they had to wait till the end of the semester to move her, so you had to learn to live with it.
She got kicked out. So she got kicked out, pretty much. They got to get this girl out of here.
Yeah, they had to switch. You know, live somewhere else.
Dude, I was at UC Santa Barbara, and my roommate and I, Nate, and we kicked somebody out once for being a slob. I think his name was Rich, or maybe his name was Magor. And we came all these meetings, man. And it's a European name, dude. I think it's Czech. And they were being a slobs. And we're like, dude, you know, you got to stop being a slob. And he wouldn't stop. So we kicked his butt out. And so here's the reality is that if you live with somebody who's not keeping up with your agreements for hygiene, it is going to impact the relationship. So let's do some role playing, and let me play this out for you. Now, this might sound a little dramatic to you, and so if you don't like this, then don't use it. I think this is real. I think this is good advice, good coaching, and I want to use this to help you create a culture of chores in your home. All right, so you're going to be a totally average, normal 13-year-old, and you do not like emptying the garbage. That's one of your chores. And what's happened is that now the family dynamic in the past has been, I as the parent have to nag you like 50 times to empty the dang garbage and just take it 35 feet to the green garbage bin on the side of the house because you're an awesome teenager and you're capable of doing this. And instead of doing the same nagging routines or punishments or threats or me doing it, I'm going to try something different. All right?
Okay. All right.
And if you could go down this path, you're going to be a little bit like, Dad, you're being dramatic. Can you play that role?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ready? Hey, I'm going to knock on your door because you're in your bedroom. Hey, buddy. Hey, man, can we, talk about something, me and you?
What's up, Dad? Kind of talking to a friend right now.
Okay. Hey, I can come back, man. I can come back when you're ready, but this is pretty serious. I want to have like a heart-to-heart with you.
All right. How long is this going to take?
I don't know. It's pretty serious. I want to have a sit down with
Jenny, let me call you back. Something's going on with my dad. All right, Dad. What's going on? So
can I sit down?
Yeah. What is it? Stop beating around the bush.
Hey, man, I wanted to share some feelings with you because there's something that's come up I'm feeling pretty uncomfortable with it.
Okay. What happened?
Yeah. I want to talk to you about what's going on with you. Not emptying the garbage in the kitchen.
What do you mean? I emptied it yesterday.
Yeah. So you've probably noticed we've got this dynamic where you don't empty it. Then me or Mom end up nagging you, yelling at you, threatening. And then you either do it or don't do it. Or we end up doing it. And I want to chat about that.
Okay, well, I did it yesterday. I didn't realize I needed to do it today. If you asked me, I just didn't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, so have you noticed that, we nag you a lot over that?
Well, yeah, because Dad, I don't want to take out the trash.
Right. So do you like it? Like when we nag you or tell you what to do over and over like that?
No.
Right. Yeah, I don't like it either. Why don't you like it?
Because I just don't like you nagging at me. I don't like you telling me what I have to do over and over and over again. And it
must be hard. Yeah, it must be hard for you. Like you're my guy. I love you, and like that must not be fun. I mean, like here you are, you're minding your own business, and all of a sudden, me or Mom are like nagging you or yelling at you in your own room. That sucks.
Dad, I don't like taking out the trash. Like, can I do something else? I'll do anything. I just don't want to do the trash.
Okay. Hey, we can talk about that next. That's a really fine idea, but I want to talk to you about, what's really going on between me and you with this whole garbage thing.
Dad, there's nothing going on between me and you.
Yeah, man. No, this is why I want to sit down with you. Like, I'm feeling very uncomfortable that you don't seem to be thriving with this daily job that you have.
Well, who wants to take the trash out? You don't want to take the trash out? That's why you're making me do it.
You know what? I'm 45 years old, so I've been taking out my trash my whole life. But this is your job, and it's a very important job on the team. Like taking the garbage out and keeping that garbage can empty is extremely important part of how this family thrives. And I don't know if you really get that yet.
No, I just okay.
And I think that's my fault. Honestly, I think it's my fault because, like, if you're playing sports and you have a role on that team, or you're in a drama and you play a character, or when I go to work as part of my team, like, if one person is not thriving in that job, it's going to affect everybody. And I need to let you know that whatever's going on between you and your chore, it's really affecting me and affecting this family.
Are you sure you're just not saying that? Like, it sounds like you're being a little dramatic. Like, I'll take the trash out. Like, what's the big deal?
Right. I'm glad you brought that up because it's a very big deal to me. And I don't think I've done a good job teaching you.
So is it a big deal that I didn't take the trash out, or is it a big deal that you have to tell me to take the trash out?
Yeah, right. This actually has very little to do with emptying the trash. Like, the trash is full right now. But this is going much deeper than the trash. This has to do with, I'm feeling really hurt when I look at that trash right now and it's full of garbage. And I feel really hurt by it. I feel confused. I feel angry. I feel like, am I a good dad? I feel shocked, and I don't know what to do.
Well, if you just tell me to take the trash out, I won't be hesitant. I'll just do it.
No, but this is why we're talking. Because I've already done that for months now.
I know. Moving forward, I will do it.
But I don't want to do that. I don't want to be nagging you or threatening you to do your job. I get it. You do not like empty the trash. It's trash.
Right.
It's freaking emptying the trash. Who would like emptying the trash? But this is not about emptying the trash. Like, I want you to know, like, me and you, like, we're not cool right now. Like, we're not okay. At this very moment, we are not good.
I will go take the trash out right now.
No, I don't want you to. I want us to talk about what is going on.
Nothing. I just forgot.
No,
I didn't want to do it.
Something is going on. Were you aware that me and you were not good right now? Were you aware?
Yeah, only because you told me. Right. Everything was fine until you brought it up. You're being dramatic.
Right. So you think I'm being dramatic, but I'm not. Like, if we were living, like, in college together, or we were roommates, and you weren't doing your chore, like empty the garbage, or, like, son, if you were stealing my top ramen, or leaving messes around the apartment, I'd be like, dude, what the hell, man? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not going to steal your stuff.
No, but this is what's going on. Like, I want you to know this is what I feel inside when I look at that garbage and it's full. And now I got to wonder, is the dog going to get into it? You know, like, am I raising a spoiled, entitled child? Like, it just gets in my head, man. And I don't know if you know this about me.
Well, I will take the trash out. Can I take, okay, what if I take the trash out?
What do you hear?
I hear that you are having a problem because I forgot to take the trash out and I don't want to take the trash out. So I will take the trash out. Even though I don't want to, I will do it so that you don't feel this way.
That would mean so much to me because I want to have a trusting relationship with you.
Yeah, me too.
I want to be able to trust you, that you care about this family, that you see your role in this family is very important, and I don't have to nag you.
But what if I forget? Sometimes I forget.
You know what? I'm not okay with that. Like, you're too.
Well, then can you buy me that iPhone so I can have an alarm on it to remind me to take the dang trash out?
How would you feel if I just said to you, oh yeah, I forgot to take you to practice today? Or how would you feel if mom just said, hey, I forgot to buy groceries today, guys? Or how would you feel if I just forgot and all of a sudden all the power got turned off because I forgot to pay the bill? How would you feel about that?
That would not be good.
Right. So I want you to be able to trust me. That the things that are important to you, I care about them. And I love you so much that I will not forget to do things that are important to you.
Okay.
So do you feel like you can trust me?
Oh, yeah. I could trust you.
Well, I want to be able to grow in trust with you around the garbage.
I will.
I know it's funny. It's funny,
I
isn't
will
it?
do it.
It's the garbage, isn't it? Isn't it funny that we're talking about the garbage?
Yeah, I don't want to do the dang garbage, but I will do the garbage.
I don't blame you, man. I don't want to do the garbage either. And I don't want to rake the leaves. I don't want to clean up the snow. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to pay for insurance. And I do these things because I love you and I'm a part of this team. And this is what we do as a family.
Okay. As soon as AI comes out with a robot, I want the robot to come get the freaking garbage from now on.
Maybe, huh? So, son, can I ask you to do one thing for me? It's not empty the garbage, by the way.
Oh, okay. What?
If you could look me in the eye and say, Dad, in your own way, I totally get the garbage. I get how it's a big deal to you and this family in your own way, and you can really trust me to do an excellent job. Would you be open to saying something like that to me?
I guess.
All right. In your own way, go for it. It would mean a lot to me, man.
Dad, I will take the trash out. I'll remember to take the trash out so that you aren't getting upset. And I'll take the trash out so I could do my fair share.
Hey, that means a lot to me. Thank you. And I want you to know anything I can do to grow trust in you or help you to feel loved or help you to feel good, I want you to know you can trust me. That I'm here for you, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, son. All right, Jordan. Great role playing, dude. What'd you think about our role playing, man? Let's wrap up our episode. I have a couple more points on chores, but I'll leave those for another episode, another podcast. But dude, your acting was incredible. Your dramatizing of how this teenager didn't get it. Let me just stop this conversation. Let me dehumanize you. I don't want to deal with your feelings. I don't want to deal with this drama. I just want to be left alone in how you stepped into that emotional intimacy of this emotion coaching parenting. Tell me, did you like this? Did you not like it? What did you like about it? What stood out to you?
I think it's going to be hard for parents to get into that position, right? So like, for the sake of argument, I was being, understanding and playing the game, but you have some teenagers out there that they'll just continue to be defiant. And I'm sure you deal with all that with some of your clients, and they're just so defiant. Yeah. But I guess over time, if you keep prying away, you'll eventually get to their heart.
My response to that is, in most situations, defiance is a symptom of serious, deep disconnection.
Yeah.
So in this role playing, you played a character who has a good connection with the parent figure, right?
Right.
And so the child doesn't want to be defiant. The child is just a teenager, and it's like, I'm forgetful. And just, can you please lower the bar on me because I'm forgetful? And did you see me not accept that?
Right.
I was like, no, like, you're a teenager. I'm not going to lower the bar on you. Like, you've got this. And yeah, is there a gazillion things we can do to support this teenager? Yes. Like maybe getting them an alarm, getting them Post-it notes, maybe helping them switch out to another job. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Like, for example, my kids do not empty the garbage in my own house. Why? Well, because I have a very long driveway. My garbage is very heavy. And my wife and I both agree that this is something best suited for me as a man, as a strong man. And I've got, it's easy for me to bring up these heavy garbages because we put that garbage to the max, dog. You know what I mean? It's heavy.
Okay. So you give them a different chore.
For sure. My kids have a ton of chores. And but let me ask you this, put you on the spot. Tell me one takeaway what did you like about today's teaching about how to make chores easy-peasy, lemon-squeezy? What stands out to you from this?
What stands out to me is we all just want a smooth running ship, right? And people know, everyone listening to this knows that a household isn't a smooth running ship, and it's hard to get there, but it can get there. And so these chores are part of the process, because the reality is, and I try to tell this to my wife all the time, is sometimes we as parents need to learn to delegate, right? To our own dang kids.
Yeah, buddy.
We think, we can do the laundry. Let me fold it. I'll put it away for them. Yeah. Let me do this. I'll take the trash out. And we just do it all ourselves because we make up excuses or whatever it is. But the reality is, the less we do the better. Of course, I want to get my kids a glass of water if they just sat down and they're like, Dad, can you pour me a glass of water? Yeah, but I'm not going to. Get your own dang legs up because I just cooked the meal and get your own dang glass of water.
Yeah.
It's not because we love them less. It's just we want them to take up these tasks on their own. And so chores is the next step. And we just as parents need to be firm on that.
Well said. I hope the biggest takeaway y'all heard is this, is why chore charts can be so good and so helpful. It's really about reaching your kids' hearts and their mind. What are chores about? Chores are never about what they're about. They're about a deep concepts of connection, teamwork, selflessness, punctuality, care, and just being a loving family member. Jordan, I'm just so thankful that I have 3 kids who have really let me teach them about chores and about family teamwork, and that my kids, they do their chores without complaining and a good attitude, and they get it. And I'm just so thankful that I've got kids who are really not perfect, but they're thriving in this area. Tell me something you're thankful for.
I'm thankful that I had 3 kids so that I could just do less and be lazier as I get older. I mean, they're my little they're going to go and do all that stuff for me. Yeah. So man, what I do love about it, what I am thankful for, is teaching them some of this stuff. It is fun to cook with them and to make a mess, and it can be frustrating, but the process has been fun. Chopping wood together. Yeah, they can't do it right away. They can't swing that axe, but it's been cool to be given a gift, to have a child, to be able to teach them these things. That's what I'm thankful for.